One of the strangest and most tantalising ideas in psychotherapy is that of the repetition compulsion. This tells us that as a result of certain traumas that have not been properly understood and unpicked, we will be inclined to keep putting ourselves back into and, in effect, repeating difficult situations from the past that run counter to our emotional needs in the present. So, for example, we may be tempted to keep falling in love with people who make us suffer by being distant or cold, muddled or chaotic. Or we might constantly wind up in jobs where we try to please a tricky boss, but then we're rejected by them and eventually dismissed. But there's a nuance here. We are not generally simply hunting out an awful situation and then attempting to repeat the whole of it. What we're doing is trying to find a story familiar enough for us to be drawn to it, and then what we're attempting to do is to give it a different ending. So, for example, we might want to find someone who is as distant as our mother, but this time we want to take her to therapy. We want to have long dialogues with her, help her to see her wounds and act as her protector and her guide. Or we want to find the same sort of angry man as our father was, but this time, rather than cowering under the sofa, we want a chance to be able to get to the root of their rage, to appease it, and then ensure that they will treat us well. We are seeking, in adulthood, for a second chance to rectify a traumatic dynamic that our unavoidable childhood weaknesses meant that we were never originally able to fix. What does it mean to give a story a better ending? It means bringing all the resources of adulthood to bear on the difficulties of an emotionally compromised childhood. This idea of story completion lends us a more hopeful angle to the concept of repeating the past. We aren't merely driven by an urge to suffer. We're being motivated by something much more creative, a desire to identify something in the here and now that is a bit broken like it used to be, and then we have a wish to repair it with our adult strengths in the hope of being able to move on and finally find freedom.